All right, guys, so those are the four examples we're working on today. So if you guys do copy notes, I'm going to leave those examples there. Go ahead, copy them. I'll give you guys about 2 minutes, and then we're going to work them one by one. So remember, we're just going to copy the examples, and we're going to work one by one. So make sure you guys copy your examples. All right, you guys have about 1 minute left. All right, about 30 seconds left. Once again, you guys are looking at the angles outside of the circle. That's what we're looking at. Sometimes the angle or the unknown x will be on the circle, on the arc. Sometimes it will be an angle. So about 10 more seconds. Okay, so now looking at example one by one. So let's include the instructions here. The unknown, in this case, is an arc. Sometimes it might be the arc, sometimes it might be the angle. We're going to see both cases. So what we're going to be doing, we've been working with the angle. Sometimes it was on the circle, sometimes it was inside the circle. And then every time we look at the angle, in this case outside, we're going to multiply it by 2. So let me go 2 times 45. In this case, it creates two arcs. One of them I'm going to call it x because I don't know how big is it. And the other one is 65. With x, we can tell x is bigger. So I'm going to go x minus 65. I'm going to subtract the two arcs, but we start with the biggest one. Once again, x is bigger. So make sure we go x minus 65, not 65 minus x. So it does matter. We start with the bigger arc. All right, so now let's work this out. 2 times 45, we get 90. 90 is equal to x minus 65. Let me separate the sides to the equal sign. My negative 65, let me move it to the left. That's a plus 65. So we get 155 is equal to x. So in this case, the arc, the unknown, is 155. Looking at my second example, the unknown is the angle. So I have to multiply the angle times 2. So in this case, the angle is x. So I'm going to go 2 times x. And I have to subtract my two arcs. I only see one number, 130. But the other arc is what completes the circle. Remember, 130 is this little arc. This other arc right here is what completes the circle. And I know a circle is 360. So I'm going to call this one 230. And the way I came out with the number, because I subtracted 130 from 360. So once again, it's what completes the circle. So I have my two arcs, and I'm going to go 230 minus 130. Remember, always start with the bigger arc. So I have the 2x is equal to 100, right? 230 minus 130, that's 100. So x in this case is 50. The angle in this case is 50 degrees. So remember, to subtract the two arcs, start with the biggest one. So let's take a look. Now my x's are going to have a pluses or minus. See, my little arc here has a plus 20. So we always start with the angle. Remember this angle on the outside, it's 44 degrees. So I'm going to go 2 times 44 because I'm going to multiply the angle times 2. And then looking at my arcs, 4x plus 20 is small. 152 is the biggest one. So I have to start with 152 minus, because my little arc has a plus or minus, I'm going to put that as a parentheses, 4x plus 20. So again, I put my little arc inside parentheses because it has a plus or minus in it. All right, so To work this out, 2 times 44, I get 88, is equal to 152, but I have to distribute this negative sign, so I'm going to call this minus 4x minus 20. So I have that 88 is equal to, on the right side, at least I can simplify 152 minus 20. Right, 152 minus 20, that's 132 minus 4x. Now let me move the 132 to the left as a minus 132. 88 minus 132, that is negative 44. So I have the negative 44 is equal to negative 4x. Divide by negative 4, and then x is equal to 11. Just a little recap. Here, when I was subtracting the arcs, because the little arc, 4x plus 20 in this case, the little arc had a plus or minus in it, that's why I put it inside parentheses. All right, let's take a look at our last example. My angle, it's 8x minus 6. So 8x minus 6, that's the angle, and I have to multiply everything by 2. Now my two arcs, I notice that one arc is 230. I don't see the measurement for the other arc, but I notice is what completes the circle. So I'm going to call that 130, because remember I subtracted 230 from 360. That's how I got 130. So when I subtract my two arcs, I'm going to go 230 minus 130. So now on the left, let me distribute the 2. So I have 16x minus 12 is equal to 100. Let me move the 12 over. That's a plus 12. So I have that 16x is equal to 112. Let me divide both sides by 16. X in this case, it's 7. So once again, we multiply the angle times 2. Multiply the angle times 2, and it's equal to the difference of the arcs. So we have to subtract the arcs, but we always start with the bigger one. So 230 minus 130, not 130 minus 230. So remember, the order does matter. So good luck.